ThekarmicDF.
What is up, besties? It's your girl, the Karmic DF, back to you again with another video. This time we're going to talk about one that I know everybody hates to hear, but if you follow with me, you're going to find a relationship that actually speaks to your soul and not just your ego. So we're going to cover why you have to love yourself first, at least to an extent, while getting into a relationship. I'm going to give you some examples. I'm going to give you some tools. I'm going to show you why it doesn't work without it, and I'm going to show you how much better it feels once you do it. So if you are someone that, and hey, I can't speak because I read a book. I'm speaking from experience, so no judgment here. But if you are somebody that, makes excuses for bad behavior, maybe you jump from relationship to relationship, maybe you find your happiness in relationships, and you don't really, when it's over, you don't really go through what it is that you went through. Maybe you don't self-reflect and take some time off to really refine yourself and realize that you're not the problem. It takes two, and you probably just weren't the right puzzle pieces to fit together. Anyway, the point of this video is to make you understand why we keep attracting people that are not good for us, why we keep making excuses for people that are not good for us, and how to basically read between the lines before we even let it get that far, and how to make sure that we don't date people that are problematic or not healthy for us or not right for us again moving forward. So if you are tired of being a serial dater, or if you're tired of, maybe you've been in long relationships and now you're just like, I don't want to do relationships anymore, I don't trust it anymore. If you're just somebody who still has a little ounce of hope in love, but you're not really sure you want to put yourself out there because you're tired of what you've been getting, then this is the video for you, because we're going to reshape the way you think so that you can stop attracting people that don't appreciate you, that have taken advantage of you, and you could go on to meet somebody that'll meet your needs the way you need them to be met. So as always, if this video is something that you like, please leave it a like. That really does help my channel so much. Leave a comment down below if you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have anything that you want to add to this video or any questions you have. Subscribe to my channel if you enjoy my content, and hit that notification bell to get more content in the future. And as always, let's get into it. So those who have not seen videos from me, I have a habit of giving examples first, because I feel like that's the best way to help people understand, is you could see yourself in that situation. So when I started to date again after having gone through a serious spiritual awakening where I realized that I needed to love myself so much that no one could get in the way of that, I did a lot of internal work and working on the inner critic, that voice that says you can't, you won't, you're not enough, and I got rid of that. It still happens, not as often. But when I started to date again, what I realized was when a breakup would happen, I wouldn't fall apart like I used to. And this is a big problem that we have with society as a whole, is that we believe that relationships are meant to complete us, right? And so when a breakup happens, we fall apart. And listen, I'm not downplaying a breakup. Like, you should fall apart, you should cry, you should get those emotions out, release whatever it is that you're feeling. But a lot of times we get really dependent and attached to these relationships, right? Even though we know that they're bad for us, we're making excuses. Even though they treat us like crap, they scream at us, they give us bare minimum, they're emotionally unavailable, whatever it is that has happened to you, right? But yet there's a part of you that makes excuses. Maybe they'll change, maybe you're the problem, right? I was good at that one. Maybe this, maybe that. And so we don't really get to the point, which the point is that if it's meant for you, it'll stick around. And if somebody cares about you, they're going to hear you, right? They're going to see you, and they're going to realize that just like their needs matter, yours do too. And so when you get to a place where you can show yourself what love looks like, when you can treat yourself on a day that you don't feel well, right? So you're having a day and you're like, I feel bogged down. I'm not sick, but I'm bogged down, right? A lot of people will be like, no, we're just going to power through it, right? But what you're teaching yourself subconsciously is that your needs don't matter. And you don't realize how that can transport itself into other relationships, especially romantic ones. And so what we do is, by not learning to show ourselves what love looks like, we therefore expect others to show it to us. And because we haven't showed it to ourselves, we don't know what it looks like. And so we're more, what I'm hearing in my head is like a moth to a flame. When you don't realize that you are love and that you matter, you're going to attract people that reflect it back to you. And so the first step to getting rid of people that don't treat you well is to show yourself what being treated well looks like. Because if you beat yourself up for not doing your chores on the first day that you have off from work while you're completely drained, then obviously you don't respect and love yourself as much as you should. And now that's not judgment. I'm not sitting here going like, oh, you should love yourself better. How dare you? No, girl, I've been there. Boy, I've been there. I get it. You know, I have a lot of Virgo and Mercury placements. So it is hard up in this brain for me to be nice to myself. I'm speaking from experience here. But when you don't know how to nurture yourself, you're not going to get someone who's nurturing, because you don't know what that looks like. If you had parents that were busy, so they were emotionally unavailable, then you learn to take care of yourself to an extent on your own. And then you bring that into your real life, but you also have this limiting belief in your head that your needs don't matter. And so you go out into the dating world saying, my needs don't matter. I'm going to make excuses. Maybe you had emotionally unavailable parents, and so you're subconsciously chasing that emotionally unavailable father, mother, etc. And so now you're attracting people that you're either trying to fix or you're trying to prove yourself to. But the point is, if you take some time, I would say no less than 6 months, if I'm being real with you, but if you take some serious time to just be alone, no dating, no humoring anybody, and you just go, all right, let me pretend that I'm the boyfriend. Let me pretend that I'm the girlfriend. Let me pretend that I'm the parent. Let me pretend that I'm the best friend. What do I need? How would I want to be treated if I were my own spouse? How would I be treated if I'm drained? Like, let's say you're drained today, right? You don't have the energy to do the laundry or to wash the dishes. How are you talking to yourself in that moment? Are you like, oh my God, I'm such a piece of crap. I should be doing this right now. I know better, but I'm tired, but I can't help that I'm tired. And now you're going down this spiral, right? If you're mean to yourself, you are much more likely to attract someone that's mean to you, because you don't have those boundaries within yourself that's saying, hey, I'm a human being, not a human doing, and I deserve some downtime. I deserve to take care of myself when I'm feeling low. I matter. That's the point. If you don't believe you matter, then you're going to constantly attract people that show you that you don't matter, because it's your limiting belief. And that's the life hack of all of these relationships, is they are all mirrors. When you begin to love yourself and pour into yourself, then you're going to attract people that want to do that exact same thing to you. So once you understand that all of it is a reflection of yourself, it's the easiest way to realize that, hey, I need to choose myself so that I can get the best when it comes to relationships, when it comes to friendships, when it comes to career, when it comes to all facets of your life. But it goes with, how do you show up for yourself? Because if you don't love yourself, if you don't validate yourself, if you don't speak up for yourself, it's going to be a lot harder to attract somebody who is going to reflect what it is that you so desperately want, which is what we all want, which is unconditional love. People that don't see us as, what can you do for me? How does this turn into a transaction? It's just two people who truly care about each other, right? But in order to get that, you have to show yourself what that looks like first. So what happens when we date if we're not ready to date? If you're not ready to get deep and emotional, then what are you doing trying to human relationships in the first place, to be honest? Your needs can't be met if you don't know what they are. And so you'll feel safer while neglecting or even gaslighting the person that you're giving a chance that never really stood a chance to begin with, because you're closed off. If you don't feel safe, you won't show up as your best self, and that partner won't be able to be what you need, and thus another lesson learned about ourselves. Rinse, wash, and repeat the karmic cycle. If you're tired of dating the same person in a different meat suit every single time you date, then the only thing that hasn't changed, I don't know why, but I'm being drawn to chemistry because I'm having trouble talking. Oh, frick, what was that? Spirit? There's like an equation in chemistry. It's been a long time, so I haven't been to college in a while. But basically, it's what doesn't change no matter what stays stationary, what stays. Someone that has taken chemistry, please tell me what I'm talking about in the comments. I might Google it, but I'll probably forget. Basically, it's the factor that doesn't change that shows you how everything else contributes to the solution. And so if you are someone who's mean to yourself, your inner critic's real bad, you don't respect yourself, your own needs, your own boundaries, then you are going to attract people that show you that you don't respect yourself, your needs, and your boundaries. It really is that simple. It's always going to be a mirror image of what it is that you're not realizing about yourself. And so to stop this pattern from repeating, we've got to go inwards for, let's say, 6 months. I like that amount. That I would say a year, but you know, pick your battles. But taking that time to really nurture yourself and to see what that looks like, to see what love looks like coming from you, is it's going to help you in a way that you've never experienced before. When you learn to love yourself unconditionally, first of all, you won't be looking for relationships. It'll just naturally happen because you won't feel that hole. You won't feel like there's a void to be filled because you already fill it for yourself. And don't you want to feel like that to begin with? Because as you raise the standards, because you've raised the standards of how you treat yourself, then you're going to raise the standards of who it is that you date. And guess what? Once you learn to love yourself, validate yourself, and understand yourself, be whole, it's going to be a lot easier to spot those red flags. It's going to be a lot easier to not make excuses for bad behavior because you're not running away from yourself. You're not trying to find something to fill the void. So you're not going to be able to date the people that you look back on going, oh my God, how did I allow that behavior? How did I allow them to treat me like this? How did I allow someone to scream at me? How did I allow them to give me breadcrumbs? How did I this? How did I that? You're not going to beat yourself up anymore because you're going to go through those stages of grief as you learn to love yourself. But then you're also going to get to a place where you're like, screw this. I deserve the best no matter what. And guess what? People tell on themselves. Everybody tells on themselves. I promise you, I do it too, I'm sure. But I'm kind of quiet now because I know how this stuff works. So once you can begin to love yourself, it's going to be a lot easier for you to date because you're going to know what to look out for. You're going to see it. You're going to feel it. You're going to be, let's say, I'm going to pander to the women here because it's just easier for me. Let's say you're talking to someone on a dating app, right? And the guy goes like, oh, you know, I'm not looking for anything serious. I just want to take it slow and see what happens. Now listen, don't come at me in the comments because you're the 1% that actually means that. 99%. Oh my God, I'm literally seeing in my mind, He's Just Not That Into You, the movie He's Just Not That Into You, where it's the part where it's like, there's the rule, but then there's the exception. That exception's rare. You are not the exception. 99.9% of the time, you are the rule. So follow it because it has nothing to do with you. It's simply that, again, going back to my example here, of someone who's like, oh, you know, I'm just seeing what's out there. I don't care for the labels. Let's just take it slow. What they're really telling you, more often than not, don't come at me in the comments. I can almost feel it. I bet someone's going to say something in the comments. I'm calling it now, unless this will help them not. But what they're really essentially telling you, because I've heard it, I've gotten it a million times, and it's the same freaking thing every time. They're telling you they're not ready to date. That's what they're telling you. The amount of guys that have said to me like, oh, I just want to just take it slow. I'm committed to you though. And I've been like wifey to so many dudes that never wanted the title, that never wanted anyone to know that we were dating. And you know what? Listen, it's not even about the why, right? Like you don't have to go and drive yourself nuts with the why, because actually if you do the shadow work, which are in other videos, go check them out. If you do the shadow work, you realize that nothing's ever personal. Even the guy that's like, I just want to take it slow and see what's going on. And then you find out he's talking to like 3 other girls. Well, if you want to get down to psychology, it's because they don't feel good enough, right? It's happening with both of us. That's the complication of relationships that we don't really allow ourselves to think because we make everything about us, right? And so we're like, oh my God, I wasn't enough. I wasn't this, I wasn't that. And believe me, girl or boy, I've been there and I've definitely had that pity party where I'm like, why wasn't I enough? Why didn't they love me? Why couldn't I be enough? But in reality, just like you get triggered with your wounds because you're not working on it and you choose to date instead of working on those wounds, you're attracting somebody else who has their own set of wounds that are dating you instead of going within and healing from those wounds. And that's the main thing that you need to understand. When you don't go and do the work to love yourself, then you are going to attract someone on a different sort of spectrum that's doing the same, to mirror to you in a different type of way what it is you're doing. That is why so many emotionally avoidant people will attract emotionally anxious attachment styles. So when you see all of these guys that can't touch their feelings and they're dating these women that are constantly trying to prove themselves, they still have the same underlying wound, which is love is not safe. Love needs to be earned. I can't trust love. And so either I'm going to stay really far away from it, emotionally avoidant, or I'm going to rush towards it to prove that I'm worthy. And I'm going to subconsciously pick the most emotionally unavailable person in order to prove that I'm worthy of love. That is the psychology behind this. So again, going back to the point of this video, why do you need to love yourself first? It's because how many lessons do you want on why it is you are not available yourself? I had spent so many times thinking, I don't understand. I'm emotionally available. I want someone to love me back. But in reality, I wasn't emotionally available. I was anxious attachment. I didn't feel like I was worthy of love. And so I would subconsciously attract the most emotionally unavailable men and then just try so hard to fix them and to show them that I was safe and to show them that I'm different than everybody else and to show them that I have a pure heart and all I want to do is love really hard and care and give. And though those things are true, guess who I wasn't giving it to? Me. I was the last person to receive all of this healthy, just overwhelming, immense amount of love that I have to give, but I wasn't giving it to myself. And so guess what? I was attracting people that were treating me like trash until it was like, enough is enough. I don't want to date anymore. And I did not want to date anymore. I was done. I was fed the F up. And I started to love myself. I started to pour into myself. Ladies, actually this could work for men too, but a couple of tricks. If you have a physical issue, where you don't love yourself physically because society sets ridiculous expectations, look at yourself in the mirror every single day. If you can get away with this, I would recommend sleeping or being alone at night naked, being comfortable with your body that was given to you by whatever you believe in. I call it source. You can call it God, Jesus, I don't care. Pick your poison or non-poison, but you know what I mean. It's about coming home to yourself, because once you come home to yourself, then you could stop repeating these patterns of dating basically dead weight that's just reaffirming to you where it is that you've let yourself down. If that person is emotionally unavailable, be honest with yourself. Are you emotionally unavailable? And if you're really honest with yourself, the answer is yes, because you wouldn't attract somebody who's emotionally available if you were not the same thing. It just comes down to, it's kind of like magnets. What are you missing? That other person's missing it too. Now you're going to come together to trigger the hell out of each other until you both get pulled apart. And then you realize, oh, hey, the best course of action would be to learn how to pour into myself so that this type of relationship dynamic doesn't happen for me anymore. And unfortunately, a lot of people never learn this lesson, which is why you see people that are in like year number 20 of their marriage and they're just super toxic, or they never talk to each other, or they pretend on like social media and stuff that they're happy, but in reality they can't stand each other. And it's like, we do it for the kids, or we do it because we don't want to look stupid, but in reality, who cares? Are you happy or are you not? Do you want to be, because I know all of you are thinking about like an uncle or an aunt where it's like, oh yeah, God, their relationship's a nightmare. I don't want that. Use that as fuel. Use that as fuel. Think of that friend that's been in a relationship for 5 years and all they do is fight and they're not happy, and use that as fuel on the days where you're like, I don't want to be single. Listen, I get it. I didn't want to be single at first either. But you eventually hit a point where you're like, holy crap. You watch everybody around you having toxic karmic relationships and you're like, man, the hardest thing I had to deal with today was work. Kind of sucked. Yeah, that was it. But then I watched TV and I poured into myself and I made my favorite food because I felt like I deserved it today. And then you get into this place where you pour into yourself. And then guess what? Just like energy works in the same way of emotionally avoidant meets anxious attachment, if you're filling your cup, you're going to attract someone who's going to want to fill up your cup too, because they fill up their cup as well, because they have learned the lesson as well. You are a magnet to what you are to some extent. Just like I said with the other two, now you're a magnet to someone who pours into themselves, to someone who does whatever it is that made them happier alone is what you're going to attract next. So if you need a motivator, I would say use that. You will find a person that is right for you, that is healthy for you, because you're already modeling it to yourself. And the universe will test you. They'll be like, are you sure? And they'll throw you a dud. And it'll be someone who's disrespectful as all hell. And then you'll go, yeah, I used to be able to make excuses for this, but now I can't, because I love me and I deserve better than this. And it's going to take a while, because we live in a society that makes you feel like you're not enough, so that you could buy the makeup so you look prettier, buy the get skinny quick pills so that you can get thin better, but you're eating shitty food because that's all they put on the fucking news. And then these toxic celebrity Real Housewives and the Kardashians, and then you're like, I don't know why I don't love myself. And it's like, because everybody you watch and everything that gets thrown in the screen is meant to make you not love yourself, because you are a product, you are a commodity in this world. And I know I'm going a little off topic here, but you need to also remember this, because when you're having these days of like, I don't know if I'm ever going to love myself, you're living in a world that benefits from you not loving yourself. You're living in a world that makes money off of you not loving yourself. So it's going to take work. It's going to take time. That's why I said 6 months to a year, preferably, because you need to realize that you are inherently worthy no matter what. And that's what's going to make you stop dating people that don't appreciate you. It's going to also help you with the things I just listed. You're not going to compare yourself to the Kardashians that have had billions of work done and going, I don't know why I'm not good enough. You're not going to do any of that stuff anymore, because again, you're pouring into yourself, and now you are seeing the red flags from the rest of the world because you've done the work. And that's what this is all about. So basically, that's enough. But to sum it all up, what do you want? Where do you not meet those expectations, and how do we bridge the gap, right? You want someone who's a great communicator, but you're afraid to speak your truth. You're not going to get somebody who's a great communicator. You're going to get somebody who reflects to you that you do not speak your truth. And so this is where all of that works. This is how the universe works. It's going to show you where you are sleeping on yourself. And so, like I said, with communication, or maybe you have someone who's verbally abusive to you, but how do you talk to yourself? It's noticing the patterns, right? What do we attract? Where do we let ourselves down? How do we heal this so that we stop attracting this? And that is really, that's how it's summed up. Who do you want to be? What do you want to attract? And how can you pour into yourself to be a vibrational match to what it is that you want moving forward in all types of relationships? So I'm going to leave it at that. I hope this was helpful. I feel like this is something that's like deep. Like I could probably make a course out of that. So let me know if that would be useful. If you want me to make a course out of this, I could definitely do that. Relationships, I feel like, are my specialty. But as always, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. It really does help my channel. I appreciate it so much. Leave a comment down below if you want another part of this. If there's something that you don't fully understand, I can make a part 2. Love talking about relationships and how we let ourselves down. I've been there, done it. That's why I'm the karmic DF. It's because I have failed myself a lot with making excuses for people that didn't deserve it. And listen, it was all meant to teach me about how to love myself. And how beautiful is that? Who doesn't want to love themselves, right? So I'm going to leave this video here. If you have any words of wisdom to share with people that are still struggling with loving themselves, leave those down in the comments as well. I love to hear coming up stories. But as always, I will see you guys in my next video. I hope this was helpful. Let me know down in the comments as always, and I will see you guys next time. I love you guys so much. You could totally attract the right type of relationships for you. It all starts with learning to love yourself. I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.